Additional gear can be found and signed out in the main office. Everything's labeled, and you'll note those labels along with your name whenever you sign something out. On each of them, VPL refers to the lab itself, and the second set of letters identifies the piece of equipment, and the numbers help to distinguish between certain items in the case we have multiple. Recording a video of yourself like you might take a selfie can sometimes get the job done, but using a tripod eliminates the shakiness that comes from shooting handheld and frees up your hands. A big plus if you're a gesture-heavy speaker or want to hold something too big for one hand. Here's the basics of setting up a tripod. Start by opening the locks and extending the legs, then close the locks to set them. Use the knob near the leg's pivot points to adjust and set the height of the central column. Remove the mounting plate from the head of the tripod, screw it into the bottom of one of the phone adapters, then secure the plate back on the tripod. If the head of the tripod isn't level, use the knob near the head to release the ball joint and use the level or levels to make sure the camera's properly aligned. If that's all you need, go ahead and get to work. If you need a bit more detail though, stick around. This lab currently has two types of tripod, labeled as SLK and MNF, which are references to their respective manufacturers. Their setups are practically identical, but there's a few minor differences that are worth noting. Each of the tripods can be broken down into a few basic parts. There are the legs, the central column, and the head on which the camera gets mounted. You'll notice that they are folded up a bit differently. The central column of the SLK tripod is withdrawn, while the MNF tripod is fully extended with its legs folded up around it. I'll pull the legs of the second one out so they're starting from similar positions. Let's start by setting up the legs. On each of the SLK tripod legs, there are three little flip locks. Opening them lets you extend the leg like a telescope. When you found the right length, close the locks to prevent the leg from slipping and collapsing back into itself. The legs on the MNF tripod also have three locks, but instead of flip locks, they're twist locks. The same idea applies here though. Open the locks, extend or retract the legs as needed, then close the locks. Additionally, at the top of each of the legs on the MNF tripod, you'll see a curious little silver knob. These knobs allow you to set how far the legs can pivot, as indicated by the little icons below each knob. The leftmost position allows the leg to pivot roughly 180 degrees, which lets the tripod be folded up and stored properly. The middle position is where I'd normally keep the knob when shooting with this tripod, but you can set it to the rightmost position if you want to go a little wider. Moving on to the central columns, both tripods have twist knobs in line with the leg's pivot points. Loosening one of these knobs will let you slide its column up and down, granting you an option other than the legs to control the height of the camera. Like the locks on the legs, be sure to tighten the knob so the column stays put. Jumping now to the very top of the tripods, you'll find that each has a small plate with a small bolt sticking out. To mount a camera onto one of these tripods, you'll need to attach it by means of that bolt. Each of the tripods has a mechanism that holds the mounting plate, or the shoe, in place at the head of the tripod. The SLK tripod has another flip lock, while the MNF tripod uses another twist lock and a vice-like mechanism. Flipping the plates over reveals little tabs or handles that can pop out and be used to twist the bolt. You might be wondering how you attach your phone to this mount, and the truth is, you don't, at least not directly. You'll need an adapter for that. These phone clip adapters resemble the mounts some people have in their cars to hold their phones, and that's what they do here as well. Flip the adapter around and you'll see that it's got a threaded hole in the base into which the bolt on the mounting plate can be screwed. Just line up the bolt in the bottom of the adapter and use the bolt's handle to turn it until they're fastened securely. Then be sure to pop the tab back down, else the plate won't fit on the head of the tripod. The mounting plate can now be placed back on the head of the tripod. On the SLK tripod, you'll either have to pull the lever open again, or if you pull it out far enough for the little tab to pop out, you can just slide the plate into the opposite side and press down to engage the lock. You might need to tighten the lever a bit though, just to be safe. As for the MNF tripod, slide the plate back into the vise mechanism and turn the knob until it's secure. To mount your phone, turn the knob on the top of the adapter clip to open it. When you've got enough room, pop your phone into the clip and turn the knob the other way to tighten it. But first, be sure the clip won't be pressing down on any of your phone's side buttons. You'll more than likely be shooting exclusively on level ground, but just to be safe, you should know that both tripods have indicators called spirit levels or bubble levels that you can use to determine if the head of the tripod and, by extension, the camera, are properly aligned. If the bubble's hovering within the central marked area, you're good to go. The closer to dead center, the better. The SLK tripod's levels are arranged to let you check the angle of its head along two axes. The MNF tripod also has two, but they're not meant to be used in tandem like the SLK. The MNF's levels are circular with a matching target area. 99% of the time, you'll want to go by the level built into the head of the tripod. The other level, which is built into the knob that operates that vise mechanism, should only be used if the head of the tripod has been angled 90 degrees. You'll notice that the heads of both tripods are connected to a ball joint. Near said joint, you can find a knob that you can loosen and freely adjust the head's orientation and make any necessary corrections. The MNF tripod has an additional knob that allows you to turn the head left and right without worrying about the camera tilting up or down. That does it for tripod setup for now. We'll come back to this in a later video talking about setting up a shot, but before that, we're going to be talking about lighting.